The Interstellar Cartography Guild of Valoria Prime had mapped 11,000 star systems across 4 galactic arms. Ambassador Keltheri, a 7-limbed scholar with 3 doctorates in stellar geography, had personally charted over 200 nebulae. He had never once left a blank space on any map, until now that he stared at the holographic projection floating above his obsidian desk. The Orion arm stretched beautifully across the display. Valorian clusters, Drenathi trade corridors, Scythian migration paths, all perfectly catalogued. And then, in the middle of it all, sat a massive, irregular void, human space, not because no data existed. The data existed. Terabytes of it. Scout probes had returned with readings. Long-range sensors had captured imagery. The information was all there, sitting in quarantine data vaults, untouched, unopened, forbidden by a quiet but absolute consensus that no one had ever formally voted on. Keltheri's new assistant, a young Valorian named Pri, floated beside him, his bioluminescent crest flickering with curiosity. Ambassador, Pri transmitted via neural link, why do we not simply fill in the void? We have the coordinates. I could compile the, no, Keltheri said immediately, the word came out harder than he intended. Pri recoiled slightly, the ambassador exhaled slowly. Sit down, young one. Let me tell you about the Drenathi survey fleet of 2287. 40 vessels, Keltheri began, his voice dropping low. The finest cartographers the Drenathi collective had ever produced. Admiral Voskaren led them personally. Their mission was simple, chart the systems beyond the Kepler boundary. Document. Observe. Return. Priya's crest dimmed. What happened? 39 ships returned. Keltheri paused. In pieces. And the 40th? Landed. The ambassador let the word sit in the air. Intact. On Drenath Prime itself. Without using any known drive system. It simply appeared in their atmosphere. Docked itself gently in the capital's main port. Pri waited. Inside were 43 Drenathi crew members. Unharmed. Well-fed. Rested. Keltheri turned to face his assistant fully. And a handwritten note. On paper. Human paper. It read. He pulled up the archived image. The note, preserved in 17 galactic museums, was written in standard galactic script. Neat, deliberate handwriting that suggested the author had learned the language specifically for this message. Please stay on your side. We stayed on ours for a long time. We'd prefer to keep things friendly. Colonel James R. Hargrove, United Earth Defense Command. 3 sectors away, aboard the Scythian research vessel Endless Patience, Dr. Veronal was doing something her senior colleagues called professionally suicidal. She was reviewing the quarantined human space probe data. Not accessing it. Just reviewing the metadata. The timestamps. The signal returns. The reasons each probe had been recalled or gone silent. The pattern was immediately clear. Every probe that had entered human space returned within exactly 72 galactic hours. Every single one, regardless of entry vector, regardless of speed, regardless of stealth technology. 72 hours. Like clockwork. And each one carried the same anomaly in its navigation memory, a brief, 11-second gap. Wiped clean. Whatever the probe had seen, whatever had intercepted it and turned it around, had been careful enough to erase exactly 11 seconds of footage. But one probe, a Kethari model from 2301, had malfunctioned during the erasure. A partial frame remained. Veronal enlarged it. It showed a human. A young woman in a gray military uniform, holding a coffee mug, leaning casually against what appeared to be an impossibly large spacecraft. She was looking directly into the probe's camera. She was smiling. On the hull behind her, stenciled in bold letters, were the words, USS Franklin D. Roosevelt, 7th Fleet. Beneath the ship, barely visible, were stars. Hundreds of them. They were not stars from any known region of the galaxy. Back on Valoria Prime, Pre stared at the blank space on the holographic map for a long time. "Ambassador," he finally transmitted, "how large is human space, really?" Kelthari was quiet. He closed the map. He turned off the display. "That," he said softly, standing and moving toward the door, "is the question that ends careers, Pre." He paused in the doorway, silhouetted against the amber light of Valoria's twin suns. The Drenethi note sits in 17 museums. You know what nobody ever mentions? He glanced back over his shoulder. Colonel Hargrove wrote, "We stayed on our side for a long time." Priya's crest flickered. "For a long time," he repeated slowly. "Yes." Kelthari stepped through the door. Past tense. The map stayed blank. It always would.